Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's fifth live of our Christmas Top 12 Tips for Selling Your Home. So today, what I'll be talking about are the golden rings. So what we mean by that are proactive phone calls. But before I get into it, we've had a weekend in between this series. If you've just joined us for the first time, welcome. This has been an awesome series of the 12 top tips of selling your home in the lead up to Christmas from Rochills. If you've missed the previous lives, they are on the Walton Property Community Group on Facebook. And at the end of this live, there will be a link to that group so you can join and catch up. Also, if anyone joining us knows of anybody who might be interested in today's topics or the series, please invite them to this live or this session. You can just comment with their name or just share the post after we're done here today, and they can watch it when they have a moment. So, and also please, yourselves, whoever's joined us, please put your questions in below. I'll keep an eye out for those at the end, and I'll try and answer them live for everyone's benefit. So, what we're talking about when we say the golden rings, it's about selecting an agent who values and knows the importance of picking up the phone and speaking to their database. And their database and their clients is what we mean by that. Now, it sounds very straightforward and basic. Now, we all know estate agents have a database, but it's how that database is used, and that's whether it's used effectively or proactively. And that's ultimately what makes the difference from one estate agent to another. And I think the problem we have, I say the problem, nowadays with electronic means of communication, it's so easy to think that that's a suitable means of communication across the board. But via email, for example, emails ideally is meant to be brief and concise, and what can happen is you can end up having a one-way communication. It could be one way, or you lose a response, is what I mean by that as well. Or what can often happen, especially in our industry, is things can either be misread or misinterpreted in terms of what the client's needs are. And ultimately, in our case, time is sensitive. You're looking at selling this property whilst it's still fresh. These elements and these areas can cost time, and it can cost a sale to the right buyer, ultimately. And I think a telephone call allows two-way dialogue, a conversation, which can only enhance an understanding of the client's needs from our perspective. And it's I think, all too easy to put it all in an email, hit the send button, and assume that that's a suitable sense of communication in a transaction of this scale. So I think what you really want to do as a vendor, even as a buyer, is make sure that the agent you're working with speaks to their database regularly. And the reason agents should prioritize phone calls is that it allows them to build a relationship with that potential buyer, and allows the agent to really understand the buyer's needs and requirements. And then in turn, it allows them to marry the perfect buyer up to one of their listings, potentially your property, in their pitching over the phone. So the way you need to think about it as well, I think, is agents value building relationships with their buyers. They should value building relationships with their buyers as well. And in turn, those buyers begin to build trust, or to build trust with that agent. And it increases the likelihood of them buying through that agent over agents who are just plowing emails into their inbox with no effort to speak to them about where they are in their property search, for example. And believe me, this does happen. I've been on the other side, and that does happen, where agents think that they can sell a property through email. So I'd say, okay, expect emails with new listings, and of course your appointment confirmations. But make sure that for everything else, where possible, that you're getting a phone call. So whilst emails are great, they are convenient in so many ways, but there is no real engagement or interaction with a buyer or a seller when emails are backing and forthing. Speaking to a customer is so much more productive in being able to listen to their needs properly, see where they are in their search, getting to know and understand them. And in a phone call, agents can also speak about their properties and their listings in more detail, and details that are more importantly relevant to that customer's requirements. Something we think an email can't really or efficiently do. You're busy, we're all busy, we totally understand that, we get it. But we need to talk about the fact that people they're buying and selling an asset. And the element of speaking to another human being should be really important to both sides. And the way agents think is that if this customer or this potential buyer is insisting on carrying out this entire transaction via email, how we think is that you cannot be all that serious about buying and selling if that is, the way your form of communication. Of course, if you're international, if you're abroad, we understand, but even then, we make that phone call. We like to speak to a person. So within Rochills, what we've done is we know sometimes often it's difficult to speak during work hours. So what we do is, obviously, we've built our relationships with buyers and sellers, and we aim to speak to customers outside of their normal working hours. This is just so we have 24/7 access. I'm not sure if you don't know, we have 24/7 access where you can speak to a person outside of the office hours. And we did this so customers have the benefit of easy access and communication with another person when it's convenient for them. So yeah, I think be sure you choose an agent who is proactive, who picks up the phone and speaks to you and speaks to their database of applicants for their pitches. When they're talking about your property, you want to know, when they're selling your property, they're speaking to their database. And ultimately, it's the difference between selling in, say, 4 weeks or selling in 16. Okay, so I hope you found that helpful. If you want more property advice outside of anything we've spoken about today in the series so far, as I said before, there is so much content, and there's articles and there's videos on the Walton Property Community Group. As per before, I'll put the link down below. You can head over and join. And if you don't see anything on there that's relevant to your requirements, you can either go to the website, that's rochills.co.uk /free help and advice, or you can call the office or DM myself, direct message myself if you have me on social media. If not, add me. I've befriended as many locals as possible to be as available as possible. If not, call the office. Our number is 01932 22 21 20. But yeah, please be sure to give this live a like, share it with your network. You don't know who might need to listen to this. It might be really helpful to them. If you know someone in particular, tag them, and we'll be keeping an eye out for questions, even if it isn't. In fact, questions is a good point. Let me just double check. We've had no questions coming through. Oh, hello. Okay. The topic for tomorrow. Do I want to give it away? I don't know. No, I'm not going to give tomorrow's topic away. I will announce it. Okay, no. So tomorrow's live is about photography. Now, I'll give that much away. It's something that is progressing within our industry immensely, and there'll be tips on photography for tomorrow. Is there any other questions here? What time? So I think tomorrow we'll do it. I'll announce a time, but it will be a lunchtime session tomorrow. What I normally do is I try and time it around when hopefully you've either just had lunch or you're about to have lunch, and I can catch you at your desk and you can tune into the live. As you can see, they're not overly long, 10 minutes of your time, free property advice for when it comes to selling. So I'd say between, say, 12 and maybe 1:30 tomorrow. Okay, any other questions? No. Super. Well, as I said, please do. after the session, if you do have questions, pop them in the comments section below. We all keep an eye out for them. But yeah, give this video a like and a share, help the network out, and I'll see you all tomorrow afternoon. Bye-bye.